Okay, hello everybody. In this week's video, I'm still in Romania. The tour is about to begin tomorrow morning. So I'm here in the town of Timisoara. It's actually a city, small city, 300,000 people. And I found a location to talk about something I've been meaning to do for an awful long time. Talk about this. Now this is a circle polarizer filter, and I want to talk to you about why these should be in your tool bag when you're photographing interior and architecture photography and why they're beneficial. Let's do it. We're going to be using this beautiful entranceway from the early 1900s as our kind of location for the shoot. Let's crack on, let's set up, let's get some shots. Why a polarizer filter in interiors? Well, there's a number of reasons that are often well overlooked by photographers when they're shooting interiors. For me, it depends on the type of location that it is you're walking into. If there's a wooden floor, there's no sort of direct light towards it, it's quite muted tones, for example, you may not need it. However, in a place like this where you've got shiny tile floor, you've got kind of like mosaics maybe up the ceiling, paintings, drawings, you've got reflective materials like paint, shiny surfaces, windows, glass, this kind of stuff. This is where the polarizer sort of comes into its own. Now it doesn't work for every situation, so you've got to use it selectively. But in this spot, perfect, mainly for the floor. So we're going to eliminate our sort of horrible reflections that we've got, our kind of glare that's bouncing off the tiles and making the image look not quite so attractive. So I've just taken a shot, panoramic, top, middle and bottom, of the scene as is without this activated. And I'll put it on the screen and you can see it. It's a nice result, but it's not perfect. And we're going to look to cut through some of the reflections, some of the glare, and talk you through how to use one of these and why it's important. The other thing to bear in mind with polarizer filter is you can get different sizes and you want to obviously check for your particular lens which size you need. Now I only have one and I opted for the 82mm polarizer on the basis that I can get an adapter ring for my smaller, threads on different lenses. But as I've upgraded over the years, it's turned out that actually both of my key lenses that I use it for, are 15-35 and my 24mm tilt shift, both take the 82mm ring. Now, there is other use cases as well, of course. It can help as well, this thing, to cut through kind of purple fringing, glare you get from windowsills or shine that you get on the edges coming in through a window. But also, these things do make blues pop. So this particular location for this style of filter is going to be absolutely fantastic, and hopefully going to make our architecture really pop, stand out, and of course reduce the glare down the bottom. Okay, so you can see here when I've got my camera set in position, so I'm just using the tilt shift to sort of guide you through the scene. You can see down here in this section that I've got glare coming in the window. It's basically just bouncing on the floor. Now, that might be something you often overlook, but for me, that can be improved dramatically. So what we can then actually do is once we've got our position of our camera locked down, we can actually then twist the polarizer filter and move it around to a point where it cuts straight through that glare, eliminates most of it. It won't always do all of it, depends on how good the quality of the filter is. So I've moved it to here, and as I twist it around, you can see what it's doing. Quite a huge change actually. As I twist that round, it's basically increasing the visibility of our interior. So it's making the visual more pleasing, what we're capturing in camera. In other words, it's kind of bringing it alive and cutting through some of those nasty reflections, glare that we're getting down on the tiles. So really, it's perfect for this location. Okay, so I've basically lined up my composition. I've moved the polarizer into a position where it's cutting through that glare on the tiles. I've locked in my settings. I'm going to take my first shot. Now this is a panoramic, so it's going to be top, middle and bottom, one shot only, nice and simple for this location, but I really like what it's looking like here. So doing the top now. Now when I do the top, it's also cutting through glare on this gas pipe that's running through here, which has been painted like a shiny gold reflective colour. So it's also cutting through the glare there. It's also helping to kind of eliminate that distraction too. And that's really what this polarizer is great for. Okay, that's the image. I'll put it on the screen for you. So when you're in the field, there is things that you have to bear in mind with these too. A couple of challenges you may have to overcome. And the first one would be not to over polarize. If you're in the scene like this, and I'm locking in now and I'm showing you the scene, as we go through the scene, you can see here's the glare in the space down the bottom. And as I twist this through, I can really go right the way through the scene, keep polarizing through it, cutting through the glare, and I can actually get it to pretty much 0. And it's not really making a huge difference in this space. But if you were doing something like an exterior, or there was reflections in a window, or blue skies in the image, then you could over polarize, and it can start to look just a little bit fake, a bit weird, sort of artifacts in the image. And it all depends, of course, on the price point of your polarizer filter, but most would start to look a little bit, I suppose, a bit washed out, a bit strange, maybe a little bit too dark. So these things are really fragile as well, and you do have to be really careful with them. So I always make sure I put mine back in the box when it's not in use and just leave it in my camera bag like so. So if you start photographing, say, modern architecture, you might come across the next problem more than I do. And that is sometimes polarizer filters don't really work very well with tempered glass in some exterior, mostly spaces. So be careful of that. It will cause, again, some strange artifacts on the building or some crosses in the actual glass itself. But for me, with this type of interior, city centre type locations, we don't come across that at all. Now, okay, so then using polarizer filters in your interior and architecture photography can be very beneficial, as you've seen. Do you use them? Have you ever used them before? Did you even think they should or could be used in interior photography? Leave your comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you enjoyed the photos. More to come from here in Romania. A couple more videos, I hope, before we depart. My tour starts tomorrow. It's going to be a very busy week, with it being the first ever one here in this country. It means a lot of chatting, a lot of talking, and I'm kind of good to go. I've got another one in September, so I'll be back making more videos here in Romania, and of course next year too. In fact, I've just released the dates for 2025, and it's got no bookings yet. It's a fresh 6 spots available to book. Of course, I always do kind of close-knit tours, small group tours for interiors, and the link is in the description below. Next year is in March. So slightly different dates, check them out if you're interested. And that's it. Until next time, bye bye for now.